just got done doing some recordings of these strings I know are massively out of tune, and they're getting really old anyways. But one of the things that you can do, and here's another thing, even if you don't know technically what a fret is, like if you're just that basic in your playing, that's okay, because the key to learning how to create music and understanding and improvising it is training this. And we're going to get to that. We're going to work on some ear training exercises too. So you got to build this library of sounds. The key is not to even know how to identify a note, like that's a G and that's an A. The key isn't that. The key, I mean, that's one thing, you can do that. That does make you a better musician. But the key is to be able to look at any note on the fretboard without touching it and know instantly what it's going to sound like. With a little bit of practice and training, you can do this. And what that means is that when you're improvising, it's like a no-brainer. You don't even have to think about it. And you really shouldn't, if you're the kind of person who's thinking about what scale or mode you're in when you're improvising, then you're really limiting what you can expand upon. You'll just be playing the same things over and over again. But some tricks to get you started, and I still use these today. And I mean, I improvise at a more advanced level, but I still use simple things like this, is to, whatever note that I'm starting in, like if I do start in like G, to know where the octaves are, right? Because if you know where the octaves are, even if you play bad notes in between, it's really this whole thing about where do I end, how does it stop, and where's the safe point. So you can make those things landmarks. So you can conclude on that route now. It really does help you because it's kind of a safety, it's kind of like your backup plan. Another thing is that it helps to build these patterns and see things in terms of shapes. That certainly helps a lot. Triangular patterns and so forth, you start associating those things with the notes. Okay, and another thing, here's a really great way that I can explain to you how to improvise. And I think anybody who's playing blues currently or has studied blues and is moving to a different style of music has a bit of an edge. Because guys like Eric Clapton, they jam, literally, like improvise all the time. And blues is a great style of music to start in because and I did too, to a degree. Played it for years, and it taught me a lot about improvising because there's all these box patterns that you can stay within. You kind of have these little safe zones, just kind of like the octave thing that you're staying within. So it's a safe area in between. The problem with blues is that a lot of people have trouble branching out. I really had to work hard to distance myself from blues patterns because they become addictive. Because after a while, you can always expand upon the style of music, but they do become easier and easier to play within. But what blues does have is, and what most music has, what people don't really think about, is that there are two parts. Sure, there's, chorus and bridge and rhythm and all that, but there are two parts in terms of a solo. There's, say, a note that provokes another passage, which is always going to be your first part. If I just left it there, well, it seems like something more should go there. Right? So, your first part is the provoker. The second part is your conclusion. You need to bring it back. The great thing about the second part of any solo, if you break it down into sections like that, is even the second part, even though it's concluding on a note, it also is set up in such an arrangement that it provokes more, another parts 1 and 2. This is very true of blues, but it is true of all styles of music. So, stuff like that. See the conclusive note. Things like that. It's true in all styles of music. And that's what leads you along because it's those waves. And so that is the one thing that I'm very aware of when I am improvising. I do it off the top of my head. It's total meditation. I'm not thinking about anything and not thinking about the technicalities of music. I'm totally listening to my ear. So another great thing that you can do, I'll leave you with this, and we'll get into more of these things with our ear training exercises and stuff because that's really also very key, is to not be afraid to play with your eyes closed, especially if nobody's around who's going to care. You can only judge yourself. So close your eyes and then pick a note and play it, and don't open your eyes yet, and go to another note. And if it sounds funky, like it doesn't go well with that note, don't open your eyes yet. Pick another note randomly, even if it's not the same note that you first picked, and then try picking another note again. And keep doing that. And so what it forces you to close your eyes and have to really listen. And those notes start registering. You start cataloging them in your brain. It makes you a better musician. So it's all about this. So anyway, stick around, and we'll get to some really good ear training lessons and so forth. So take it easy. And so another thing, and here's a really great way that I can explain to you. Okay, and another thing, here's a really great way that I can explain to you how to